This is another one of those events that while I'm there, my friends are messaging me either where are you or how do you find these things?
That's it. That's my intro.
Hey, I'm Amanda, you're watching Swell Entertainment, and today we are talking about the International Pizza Expo that I just went to in Las Vegas. A few of my friends asked me why the International Pizza Expo is in Vegas, and outside of the fact that, like, big convention center, international airport, things like that, like, I don't know what to tell you for why they chose this. In January, Ben sent an email, consider this, pizza, ? With a link to the International Pizza Expo's Instagram. You got me. Pizza Expo is a 3-day event. Okay, well, multiple day events if you go for education. But if you want to go for the actual expo spot where like the exhibitor floor is, that is 3 days. But really quick, let me tell you about the sponsor for today's video, Squarespace. Whether you want a website to sell your custom notebooks or you want a blog where you can review cereal, Squarespace is the all-in-one website design platform designed to help you stand out and succeed online. It's okay if you don't know where to start because Squarespace has a ton of website templates to choose from, and with cutting-edge design, you can customize any part of the site to fit your needs. You can set up or revamp your online store or simply offer services. They make it super easy to process with their Squarespace payments, and they have an intuitive built-in analytics tool so you can review website traffic, learn where to focus engagement, and track revenue. Go to squarespace.com to get started, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/swellentertainment to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Pizza Expo I went to was from the 25th to the 27th. Now, I did end up missing the last day. I left early, but most of what I wanted to talk about anyway was already happening on the 25th and the 26th, so I think it's okay. I think I got more than enough, but I did miss the entirety of the last day of the expo. But it was a shorter day, so just something to keep in mind. For those of you who don't know, my aunts actually own an Italian restaurant in my hometown. I don't know how comfortable they are with me plugging it on the internet, so I'm not going to do that. But if you follow me on Instagram, you've probably seen me there a couple of times or seen me post there. My dad had told my aunt that I was going to Pizza Expo, and my aunt apparently said, oh, we went there like years ago. So that really was it. And like that it was just like a lot. Like I really didn't get any more context outside of that, okay? And then also International Pizza Expo in Vegas. Tells me it's gonna be a handful. There's a lot happening here. So when I was going to the Pizza Expo, I have a few friends in Vegas, and a few of them were like, oh, I was gonna go to that, but the prices were insane. For me to go to Pizza Expo registration, now this is like one of the last minute registrations, okay, was $260 for me. When it comes to an expo and when it comes to, you know, this is specifically an expo and conference is how they describe it. I expect conferences to be more expensive. My ticket type was a retail buyer 3-day pass advance. Do I think that's worth the price? As someone to just go and eat pizza, I mean, I feel like I got my money's worth only because I ate a lot of pizza and pasta for a 3-day event and conference. Fairly reasonable. If you're just going though because you're like, I want to eat pizza, there's potentially other events for you to go to. Okay, I know there's one in LA that I don't think is affiliated with this one whatsoever, that I believe is a little more reasonable price-wise. And even here, Pizza Expo is a trade event. Makes sense. Okay, it's gonna be more expensive because they want to try and deter people like me from going. Or not even just people like me, like just people going to go, you know? And so pretty much every time I stopped somewhere, they were like, oh, do you have a shop? And I'm like, no. I'm a reviewer. They didn't like that. One thing off the bat about this venue, I wish you would have been a little more clear about which hall you were in, because everything just said the convention center, which sure, I would assume main hall, but still, I think there's nothing wrong with being like convention center, West Hall. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, especially when I didn't realize this until I got there. There was a whole nother expo happening. It was the bar and restaurant expo. I didn't hear about that, so I didn't get tickets for that. So there's no review for that there. I think there's something wrong with being like, we're in this hall versus just the convention center. And then I went to the expo hall and it was immediately pizza colors. That's one of the things that I love about the pizza industry and just the pasta, Italian food industry. Lots of colors in the branding. I feel like especially the current day, we're getting more like homogenous with a lot of branding and things like that. Like a lot of like the trendy brutalist style, things like that. And so a lot of like companies are going to like very like pulling back on color and everything like that to make it like cleaner, chicer, whatever. Not this industry. They're like, no, colors. Right? Beautiful logos. Love that. Amazing. Is it a little overwhelming when you're a little bit tired? Yes. But also woke me up. A lot of the booths here, because it's every industry. It's every element of the restaurant industry, specifically relating to pizza, but also pasta, etc. My favorite conversation that I overheard walking through the expo hall was like these two guys behind me, and they're walking, and they're like, are you in pepperoni yet? No. It's like, man, gotta do it. You gotta do it. It's like a gold mine. There's always a shortage. You have to be making pepperoni. It's like, what do you mean? It's like, it's the number one most used pizza topping. What do you mean? Like, it was fascinating. Apparently, Pizza Expo, anime conventions, people stopping in the middle of an aisle. Y'all are all doing it. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know if that's just all. I haven't been to enough like trade show-esque expos like this, where this is just like a nature of like human being at this point. I don't know. I was just like, am I at Anime Expo? Is that where I am right now? Because you would just be walking and then all of a sudden stop dead in your tracks. This was all in one hall, not multiple halls. And there were sections of the West Hall that I felt were very cramped, at least for how far apart the aisles were, because I did feel like at certain parts, like the aisles were further apart. There were obviously bigger sized booths than others. Some booths were, obviously smaller because they're selling different things. Obviously some booths have food and things like that, so that's going to cause a little bit of a slowdown and a bunch up as well. People waiting for food, getting gelato, etc. I feel like it might be better to expand to another hall just to break things up a bit more and give people more space, because there were, especially day one, a lot of crowding. Day two, not nearly as bad. Still a lot of people. And like after around 1 p.m., the crowding did thin out quite a bit, I will say. I'm sure also as people were going into talks and things like that, that was making the crowd come and go and things like that. But especially the first day early, pretty cramped on certain aisles. Okay. And then again, like people stopping in the aisles and things like that, which, yeah, not really something you can really fix, because like there's nothing like, or being like one aisle this way, one aisle that way, that doesn't really work. And like this type of setup, not a too big of a deal, but something that I need to know. I will say, I don't think there were enough trash cans. Not nearly enough trash cans here, I will say that. You have a lot of free samples and a lot of, like try our pasta, try our pizza, lots of pizza. And I am a simple woman. I see cheese and bread and I lose all sense. Okay. So I was walking around with like multiple pieces of pizza on like little plates stacked up on each other at one point. And like early on, like it's 11, the event just opened at 10 and already like the trash cans are filled. The janitorial staff at the convention center was great and they were coming around and swapping things out really consistently and really regularly. But I feel like it would have been easier on them to just have more trash cans around, especially because typically with events like this, my understanding is most booths, like if you are a vendor, you get maybe 1 or 2 little trash cans for your booth. And sometimes people were, the booths, the vendors, the shops, the companies, whatever, were putting theirs out in front or next to their table so that you could throw away your trash there. But then it's like that's taking away from their trash potentially. So something to think about. I do think more trash cans would be good. Or maybe they did have 2 for each vendor. It was hard to see, obviously, because I'm not investigating everyone's booth. Lots of gluten-free doughs, frozen doughs, which I thought was interesting. We were like explaining like frozen, immediately pop it in. You don't need to thaw it out. Lots of different meats. It's different pepperonis. Very good. I went a little too ham the first day within 2 aisles, because I'm an aisle girl, okay, when it comes to cons. That's one of the reasons that me going to a con for reviews is important to go alone. Now that we're getting into con season a lot more, my friends want to come with me to things, which is great, but I'm crazy and I have a system. I'm not even type A, I'm just a control freak, So I like going like down to the end, picking an aisle, going up and down, and if I miss something, I'll know, So by aisle 2, I was full. My tummy was hurting because I was eating too much. Don't regret it, but the next day I was like, okay, we're gonna pace this out a little bit better.
These are big boxes, so when you put your head on it, your pizza.
So on both sides of the convention hall, because there's everything in the middle, there's more demos on the back wall too, which I did think was nice. Off to the side, there was one demo space with like big risers. Risers were great, seats were great. Really like how they did this, especially because you want to be able to look down, especially when someone's doing a demo and things like that. They had screens for the one on the right, which were good, like overhang screens so you could see what they were doing. I would have liked bigger screens, but I get you're limited by, what weight your setup can hold. So I think that was fine. What may have also been good, but this also could have contributed to crowding potentially, is having another screen to show what the demo is before people get into that area. So like outside, to draw more people into these demos, you have another screen propped up next to like the schedule for that stage, because it was kind of like in a different separate little area not blocked off, but like just a little separated. Like you had to enter into a divider to go into that area, you know, I'm assuming to deal with crowding. But that might be good to at least advertise a little bit more versus just like overhearing what they are saying into the speaker.
Can I ask you what the slices are when you put them down? Instead of having shredded cheese, what does it do? Is it something different?
This is just keeping the sauce off the crust. It avoids that soggy bottom. So just going for a different kind of...
That's great. It avoids the gum line. The gum line doesn't happen, especially in the middle of the pie. He's cold and calculated like a hitman, isn't he?
I'm trying to think if there's any like companies, like I have so many where I was like, this is really cool, like talking about different companies and things like that. Lots of automation companies, obviously, which a lot of them were very open to answering my questions, which is nice because like I was like, this seems wasteful, like when they're just dumping cheese onto the mass manufacturing of pizza. And they were like, no, it's great because there's another conveyor belt. So that cheese actually goes through and gets re-recycled and all this stuff, like showing me through all the different processes and things like that, even though I'm like, I don't have a shop, you know, which is nice. Lots of companies selling uniforms, name tags, obviously pizza boxes and things like that, neon signs for your pizza shop, art for your restaurants. For more sit-down restaurants, there were these beautiful plates set up. Again, different cheeses, meats, seafood, all of it. Pasta, so much pasta. So good. Samples here. Great. Lots of AI. More AI here than I saw at Ag Expo, which I did find interesting. But I guess this makes sense because like here you're dealing with potentially with more automation because it's like a lot of POS system companies and things like that, order tracking, things like that a lot more. I didn't think it was more or less than I thought it would be here. It seems accurate based off, you know, the discussion around AI. Do I like it? No. Is it there? Yes. Company tracking, pizza tracking, things like that. Lots of like, here's our dough processor, here's the portioning out the dough and things like that. One thing that I found later that I tried looking in for more information, and so I'm really hoping I'm wrong. I saw a few different companies that were there that I believe were all based in Vegas that were talking about how like buying from them helps support, you know, the homeless population in Vegas. Okay, great. Not what I'm talking about. I'm just saying like I saw this and then I saw this other thing and I was like, because we have a lot of food. Okay, a lot of fresh food, but also throughout the day, like I said, I was getting full though. So there were things that were out that I wasn't grabbing. And throughout the day, it's like we have a lot of people are getting full, you know, maybe you have too much. On Wednesday, when I went to the block party, which was like the end celebration, things like that. We'll talk about more of that in a second. But as I was walking into the block party to go watch, you know, the acrobatic pizza tossing, we'll explain more in a second, I saw in the trash a bunch of what looked like raw noodles for pasta noodles, like a variety of them. And I was like, casualty of Pizza Expo, and like post on my story. And I was thinking about it more and I was like, yeah, that's a good point. Like, cause like there is definitely waste here. Like there just kind of has to be, especially if you make pasta and it doesn't get eaten, you can't like uncook the pasta, you know, but like, I feel like there's an opportunity there. If there isn't one, please let me know please tell me if I am wrong. And I'm just not finding this information. I'm not seeing anything on their Instagram. I'm hoping I'm wrong and I'm just not seeing it. I do think there was maybe an opportunity here to work with the exhibitors to be like, hey, if you do have any leftovers, we're going to be doing this almost like soup kitchen style after event for the homeless. We're making it open door if you would like to make sure your food is not being wasted. I think that would have been really good. Obviously, that's something else to plan, but I think that's a really great way to give back to the community of Vegas. Maybe you do that and I missed it. Please let me know if I'm wrong. I just think that would be great because seeing that pasta in the trash can literally did something to me. They did a couple of announcements over the loudspeakers. Now, this is a pretty loud event. They're not like blasting music or anything like that. And a bunch of different booths are doing their own little demos. Like they're having their own chefs speak and do tutorials and explain things and all of that with pizza and pizza ovens. Lots of really cool pizza ovens at this event. I was taking photos of a bunch of them because I was like, oh, that one's fun. And obviously pizza oven companies selling pizza ovens themselves. It's just a fairly loud event, obviously. Okay. And then also just a good amount of people here as well. Day one, I was like, I think I left a little bit early because I had a severe headache. I missed one of the talks that I really wanted to see. So I actually didn't go to really any of the talks this event, mainly because I just missed the ones that I wanted to see. That's my bad. But day two, walking around a bit more, I kind of tried to like divide and conquer a little bit more because I was like, okay, I went through and ate all this. Let's go and eat more of this throughout the place. Oh, we had a lot of mascots. Pillsbury Doughboy was there. There was a ranch dressing guy. Just a bunch of different mascots that I really saw day two. There was even a booth for someone who designs mascots for restaurants and stuff and like had a few of the different suits out, which I thought was very fun. I was like grinning when I saw the big pizza guy and one of the women at the booth was like, that's what I like to see. Smiles. That's what we love seeing it. Everyone always smiles when they see it. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, hell yeah. That's very fun. I like it. What was really fun as well is like they really encourage like pizza merch. Like there's apparently a costume or like pizza themed look like contest every year that they do where it's like you just come in your pizza outfit and that's like pizza leggings, pizza tops, people full on cosplay for pizza stuff. There was Pizza Poppins. She won. That was fun. And she's actually won apparently like 3 years in a row. So she is now not allowed to compete next year and will help with judging. But then also like the people working the different booths with their companies and things like that. Over to the very left when you enter, okay, is two different things happening. So we have halfway down, we have basically the ongoing like pizza making competition. I don't remember all the different categories, but I know there's like traditional. I'm going to be honest, trying to follow this while they're a bit difficult. They were competing simultaneously on a timer, and then like following the results later is probably what's going to make the most sense in my brain, because trying to like watch everything happening, difficult from the stands. They had risers here too, difficult to follow what was happening just because everyone's really spread out and everyone's doing everything. Probably really cool on an edited playback, okay? Or if I was watching from like a camera that was like following all of the announcers to go and see who's doing what, everything, like a Food Network chop style. This way, stressful. Off to the front of this section was where they were having the World Pizza Games. Like I said, I missed Thursday, so there was a variety of different competitions happening Thursday. Wednesday was mostly freestyle acrobatic dough tossing. And I don't know what I was expecting when I heard that's what I was walking into. I'm like thinking like, okay, I'm just like, how high can we get it? How big can we get it? Like, that's what I'm thinking. I was not expecting full-on choreographed pizza tossing dance routines. This was incredible. Like, it was so good. I'm bummed I missed the start of like all the competitors coming through. The 3 finalists is who I saw compete. I saw a good chunk of them compete. Shout out to Gracie. She competed to Gwen Stefani. And then after she was done competing, she came over and said hi and was very excited I was there and said that she was glad I was there. So that's fun. Thank you. You did good. I like the leg thing that you do that I can't do. There was this one that a bunch of them did. That was crazy. I'm not showing you because I don't have socks on and I don't trust you guys with my toes. So imagine your legs are like this, going like this, okay? And you're managing to spin pizza dough with your arms between your legs. I mean, I don't want to say how do you learn you can do that, because the answer seemingly is just like you are in the pizza industry. like it really was. But it was a lot of young competitors, which I did think was fun. At one point during this, okay, because I was sitting in the crowd behind the judges, off to the side were a lot of people that had competed already, okay, off in the same row as me. One of the competitors' dads, because his shirt had the same name on the back, and then later said this was his father, came over to like get a photo or something and leaned over to the other competitors and he was like, I just want to apologize because he's going to do amazing or something like that. It was like, I just want to apologize for how good he's about to be. Like something like along those lines, which I was like, oh, hell yeah. like, okay, supportive. Let's see how this goes. And you know what? He was really fucking good. He ended up getting the highest score of that session and of the finalists. He was first place for the finalists in that session. He did strip while he was performing with the pizza. He got down to pizza board shorts and was like flinging dough, like, because you lose points for dropping the dough. I don't think you lose points for literally throwing it out. Like, you dropping the dough while you're spinning it is one thing. Throwing the dough out as part of your routine, I don't think subtracts points. Later that night, I came back for the block party and the finals of them competing. The one thing I will say about the finals, doing the same routine, I get it, it's a lot, but it was like, you already got scored on this routine and we already saw the scoring, and I get it, you could be better, but like, unless you're gonna snort some flour to like really lock in for this pizza tossing routine, I'm sorry, that's a bad joke. Like, I don't know what else you're gonna do to like really wow them, because especially because they're rating as well on creativity among other categories. Like, at least 2 of the routines were exactly the same, which weren't bad, you know, but I was also just like, I feel like this would be more obvious as well to the judges if you made a mistake, even though you're probably like, oh, mentally you shouldn't be remembering, whatever, you know, review the one in front of you. But also it's like, when you're doing your routine, you're the only one that knows your routine. So like, you're the only one who would know if you messed up. If you can just fake it, you can get along, you can improvise, you can do fine. But when you've already done the routine, if you mess up then I feel like that's more obvious. I don't know who exactly won one because I did end up leaving before the finals. Let's see. World Pizza Games. Do we have the results? Oh, so I wouldn't have even been able to go to the other things anyway. So other things were selling tickets. So freestyle acrobatic dough tossing and the pizza triathlon were all free to attend, it looks like. But fastest dough, largest dough stretch, fastest box folding were all sold out. So I would have missed that regardless. 2024. No, it's 2024. What happened to the results? I want the results. World Champions Pizza Games from Pizza Today. Thank you, Pizza Today. Coming in clutch. Freestyle acrobatic dough tossing. Matt Hickey won. Michael Testa, who had won the before the finals, got second. And then Casey Cole got third. And a pretty decent margin, honestly. Like 375.1, 366.1, 323.3 for the points. Like it's not even a close match. That was cool. Glad I could see that. The block party was pretty crowded, but it was free food and drinks. I believe while I was watching and holding my seat for the finals. I think the food was running out. I'm not certain. It's fine. Not a big deal. But the fact that they had food and it looked good. Everyone seemed happy with the food. And then this was also where they announced the winners of the like costume contest. So that was fun. Oh, wait, pause. I need to tell you about Pizza Crunch. Okay, so Pizza Crunch. It was described to me as the spices on a pizza in like a chili oil. It was so good. Okay, I'm gonna put up an image of it here because I was obsessed with it. I went back like 5 or 6 times to get Pizza Crunch. They had it on like bagels with like a little bit of cream cheese, I think it was. Okay, and then that on top of it. It was perfect because sometimes chili oils, it's just immediately overwhelming. This kind of like grew with the spice. Really good. I will be getting Pizza Crunch of my own because that was delicious and I went back several times. I like lost it at one point. I was like, where did the Pizza Crunch go? Oh, something for a booth. If you ever want to, if you're not selling pizza or anything like that, but you want people at your booth aside from like a pen, like most trade shows, water bottles, branded water bottles. Because especially when you're already inside this event, you don't want to walk to the food court. Like this section of the convention center has a big food court, which is great. But you're already inside a Pizza Expo. You don't always want to walk and go buy a drink. And like there were a few vendors that were selling drinks or not selling drinks, had drinks inside. But yeah, if you ever want like people to come and stop at your booth, waters. Can I get a water? Sure. Have you heard about our automated onion spreader? I don't know your life. Okay. But like something, if you don't have like an actual physical like thing to hand out for free food or anything like that, and you want to get people waters, little baby waters with your stickers on them, that's a good idea. That's really going to be it. I overall very much enjoyed going to this. The price, yes, it's a lot. And like my friends were like, is it worth the price? It's worth the price in that I will make content and therefore earn my money back. Because Swell Entertainment. Would I go again? Yes. Do I think they want me again? No. This is one of those, like, I'm glad I went one time. If I go back again, maybe I can bring my my aunts with me. That might be fun, and make them come with me for their restaurant. That might be fun because they haven't been in years, so that could be good. But yeah, have you ever been to Pizza Expo? Have you been to any of the other Pizza Expos, not the international one like I went to? How do you feel about it being in Vegas? Let me know. Comment down below. Reminder, I stream on Twitch. My Swell Entertainment is now available on Spotify. Reminder, use code SWELL for 10% off on Gamer Subs. Shout out to my channel members. If you'd also like to be a channel member, you will actually end up getting the B-roll from this event. If you want to see more footage of this that didn't make it into the video, if you would like to join that, go ahead and join down below. If you'd like to be on all social media, that'll be all up here. And that's going to be the have of the day. Pizza you later. That's not good. Okay, bye. Oh. I really held it in, and I didn't do any like pizza related puns, pasta puns. I didn't do any of that. Am I maturing? I don't know.